Drummer Dad here on how I got into dadding. That's probably going to be, I'm probably going to coin the phrase dadding. I don't know if that's a real word or not. I don't think it is. Um, but anyway, just a quick rundown on, how I got into the whole dadding game. But, my wife, we've been together for almost 15 years now. So at that time, we'd been together for almost 10. And we found out that we were pregnant, and it was my first, and it was like, we really got all the books, like the how I got into parenting, and just different books, and did a lot of research and just a lot of stuff, and boned up on our knowledge of all kinds of stuff, vaccinations and different foods that are good and bad to eat, and why they're good and bad, and different foods that my wife could and couldn't eat when she was pregnant, why and why, and just got into a lot of different stuff. And so when my first daughter came out, had we were making our own baby food. We were getting like peaches and stuff like that from the farmer's market, and then we were pureeing it and freezing it with a little bit of water, I believe, and making our own baby food and all that kind of stuff. And we've really tried to kind of, the curtain back here is doing a little bit of a dance. Tried to kind of close that so there'd be a little bit of not as much bright light shining in, but then the trade-off is the creepiness factor a little bit. Some guy talking from a dark room. But anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about the. So by the time we had our second daughter, everything was just kind of in click with the whole organic thing. We were making our own bread, just trying to do a lot of stuff, with as few ingredients as possible. For one, like, we started getting into making our own gummy worms and puddings and all. And, like I said, it's always with my disability, so with my back, to varying degrees, I can do that and not. But we strive to continue as much as possible. And so yeah, anyway, we kind of we changed up a lot about ourselves. We changed up our appetites a lot, and our shows that we watch. A lot of shows we used to watch that after we had children, we found we just couldn't, in good conscience, watch anymore. A lot of things changed, actually, when you're having a kid, whether or not it's there yet, or it's during the pregnancy, or after the pregnancy, where you're dealing with the actual baby is there. So yeah. Anyway, it just kind of, we decided to go more of the natural route with things, and try to instill a lot of homemaking and homemade stuff, so that also so our kids know where they come from and how they get made, because a lot of us today don't know how we get our food, what process goes into making it, or what anything about it. And we don't either. I mean, we've educated ourselves on what we've educated ourselves on, and we know some stuff, but there's there's a lot to learn, and we're nowhere near there. But anyway, we try to strive to continue on that, journey as much as possible. I mean, we veer off sometimes. I veer off sometimes. That's where I found at some point I'm going to end up doing a video on the addictions of fast food, and believe me, when I say addiction, I mean that in the very literal sense of the word. I just, from what I found with myself, with how the cycle works with stuff like that, and I think a lot of times we don't realize things until they're too late. But anyway, at some point I might have to keep that in my mind to try to think about a video on that. But anyway, like I said, yeah, it got us to change up a lot of things in our lives. It got us to revamp, a lot of things with what we watched and what we ate, and how we spoke. I still have a bit of a potty mouth, but I'm working on it. As you know, it's, and again, like I said, that you'll get into that too as you see your children start to do certain things, that you do, whether they're good or bad, and you start. You have to think about a video on that, the effects that we have on our children. In fact, I already had an idea about a video like that, but we don't realize, I think, as much the effects we have on our children. I never did until, you can't until you're a parent, for one, because they can't prepare you for. There's nothing that really prepares you for it. With all the research that we did, we found out that it's still just a lot of just getting your elbows dirty and getting in there and just, getting the practice in it. And it's like, you're still, you're going to be learning forever, if you're lucky. So, this is just kind of how we got started and where we're at right now, getting ready to have our third. We're, looking to try to get into a move to start getting into, a bigger location to just do more stuff with our children. We're kind of getting ready to expand, I guess you could say. So that's kind of where we're getting ready. We're looking at the new cars now. We had a regular like Cherokee, but we're starting to look at needing a bigger family vehicle now. So like I said, it just things like that. You think about everything that you're looking at is in terms of your kids too. Like your vacations and stuff. As we're thinking about them, it's like you want to plan a little bit better. Like my wife and I we could do like a lot of on the cuff stuff. Like there'd be nights when we would just we'd get off work. It'll be a Friday evening, and she'd be like, "Yeah, let's just drive to Vegas," And we live in Southern California, so we're not just about 3.5 hours from Vegas, and that could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. It's we haven't been to Vegas since we've had the children, because there's really nothing. We've thought about it a couple times, but there's not really much there for children to do. But anyway, that's a different topic as well. And but it just for my introduction to dadding, so to speak, it was just like there's certain things that just we had to adjust to, as far as like you're really planning. Everything is really being planned. Even getting up, like you're waking up in the morning and it's like you're used to being able to, on a real bad day, you just throw something on and you're running out the door, and it's like, I could be out the door in 30 seconds, but, you got diapers, you got all the other stuff going on. So you're just, and I'm not, it's great, actually. It's actually, we actually, keep our children still sleep in bed with us, actually. And, some people don't understand it, and some people do, but I tell you, for us, there's nothing like being able to wake up in the morning and just see your children's face, and you're next to your wife, and where they wake up and wake you. It's pretty cool, and they're getting to the stage now where they especially our oldest, she's starting to push for her own room and all that kind of, and she wants to start move out of the bedroom, and she's been already getting a little bit into that. Like it goes on to what I was already saying about how quick they grow up. But like I said, it's just that's a really cool thing to be a part of with your kids, and Now I think I have actually rambled myself into a complete lockdown. I don't really do much. I don't know what you would call it. Well, I know what you would call it. I just can't think of the word. I don't do much rehearsing at all. Actually, no rehearsing or anything for these videos. I kind of get myself a topic and I maybe mull over it for a little bit just to get my thoughts in order for a second. But then I'm just kind of talking after that. So I apologize at this point. It's already kind of about the end of the video time anyway. So basically, just the points that was getting at, just my introduction and just the interesting things that we had to adjust in our lives in order to bring harmony with all of us in the house. But they're great. It's like, you know, yeah, and sometimes you don't realize that, like, especially any parent out there probably is laughing or they know what I'm talking about right now, because like sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it's maddening almost sometimes. But when as you look back on those moments, it's like, man, it's those are kind of how memories are built and what they're built off of, and you just start remembering all kinds of whacked out stuff, but. Anyway, again, I'm rambling yet again. So at this point, I am going to go ahead and say, see you guys later. And anybody who has any interesting stories about what thoughts or whatever they had or what changed for them when they started becoming a parent, or their introduction to parenthood or whatever, give your let loose in the comments. And everybody have a great evening. Okay, bye bye.